the information, our mandate is to ensure that we provide the public with relevant, timely, accurate, and authentic information. This is important because we are trying to consolidate our democracy. And one of the key principles in this drive is to ensure accountability and transparency. Government must be accountable to the people because government is here to serve the public using public funds, having a mandate from the public to govern and to deliver on policies. So therefore, government must be accountable to the public. The public must know periodically what the government is doing for them. What are government's plans, what are our projects. But the government also must know what the public is thinking, what are their aspirations, what are their challenges, what are their needs. This is important. And this is where the vital role of the ministry comes into play, where we are creating that avenue where that interface can happen between the public and the government. Not only in a reactive manner where we just react to requests for information, but in a proactive manner, we call proactive disclosure. That is, we don't have to wait for the public to ask for information that concerns them. But we need to be constantly giving out information to the public so they know exactly what the government is doing. Now, this is transparency also. Governments drive their legitimacy from being transparent to the public and being accountable to the public. So the public knows what we are doing. So we know what also the public is thinking and what their aspirations are. That is why we organize these press conferences periodically, every month, to bring the government to interface with the media so they can now give an account of their achievements, but also their vision in that particular sector, and give the media the chance to ask relevant questions. But what does the media do with these answers when they receive it? Do they take it home and consume it by themselves? No. What do? They share it, they disseminate to the public. We cannot invite every Gambian to come to this forum and ask relevant questions. But the media comes on your behalf and asks the questions for you. Because you deal with the population, you know what the population are asking. You bring those questions to government, you receive answers, and you go back and share that information using various media. Previously, before the advent of new technologies, it was mostly radio and perhaps TV. Some of us who were young, we remember we had only one TV at home. There was only one channel we could watch, that is RTS. At 12 o'clock, they will close. We'll bring a cloth and cover the TV and put a flower on top of it until the following day again at 6 o'clock when they open. But now times have changed. And before, when you were even watching TV, you have to go to the back and turn the antenna so you can get it right. And someone will say, but now you have thousands of channels you can stream live. That shows how times have changed. So use different media to disseminate information. Not only now radio or newspapers, but now we have TikTok, Facebook, different media. So there is information overflow. So governments must also adapt to these two changes. That is why we are doing everything possible as a ministry to ensure that we don't only disseminate information, but we target it in a manner it reaches to every segment of society. Not everybody listens to the radio, not everybody reads newspapers. There are those who only get their information from social media. If you focus on radio, TV dissemination, you tend to disenfranchise a large segment of society from accessing information. And constitutionally, access to information is a right. That is why the government passed the Access to Information Act to ensure that government officials who are custodians of public information are willing and ready to give that information to the public when they demand it. Now, today's press conference is an unusual one. Why? Because normally we will all call other sectors to come. But today the ministry itself, we are starting with the ministry itself. We are going to be accountable to the people. Today's press conference is the Ministry of Information. And the people you see here, seated here today, these are agencies under the ministry or department. No, not is it departments, huh? Under the ministry. This is the Digital Gambia Limited, whose mandate is to ensure and implement our DTT transition, that is Digital Terrestrial Transition. We have the Gambia Printing and Publishing Corporation, and we have the Gambia Radio and Television Service. These are the departments under the Ministry of Information in this sector. So we are starting with ourselves today. They say charity begins at home. So what I will do today is I will give you an update of the ministry's achievements in 2024 and give you what are our priorities for 2025. Then we will call DGL to do the same thing, and then GPPC, and then GRTS, and we'll now open the floor to the media, to the journalists to ask relevant questions. Now, one of the key achievements in 2024, as part of our mandate to ensure proactive disclosure and to popularize government agenda, we initiated a program called Ministerial Mansakunda. It's a ministerial town hall. It's a bi-weekly one where every 2 weeks we will call a sector minister and its entire sector heads to come and face the public. The difference between the Mansakunda and the press conference is open only to the journalists, the media houses, to ask questions. It's a press conference. The Mansakunda is open to the public. Anybody, as long as you reside in the Gambia, you can walk in to any Mansakunda program and ask questions. Now, the Mansakunda was effective in that it highlighted government agendas. So far, we have done about 9 to 10 episodes featuring ministries such as Ministry of Works, Agriculture, Finance, Higher Education, Gender, Health, Youth and Sports. They were all surfaced. And I think the last one we had was the Ministry of Justice. On the 31st, we are having the Ministry of Public Service. Honorable Babukar, we will come and face the public to explain the reforms or the ongoing reforms within that sector. So the Mansakunda was an innovative initiative, and I thank the ministry, office from the ministry, for supporting the project. But we also thank the president, particularly, for supporting the initiative. We also had some public and other public engagements. For example, the monthly press conferences, as this one. We also have a radio program that we do at GRTS on Thursday between 8 and 9 in the morning. In this program, I'm always there myself, and sometimes I bring a minister who is available. We open the lines, we give updates for 20 minutes, then the 40 minutes we open the lines, and people can call from all over the country, discussing issues, talking about their problems, challenges they are facing, and what they think about the government, and ask relevant questions. We also do that to ensure, as part of our public engagement. But also, we are planning also to do outreach programs. We believe that every Gambian, no matter where you are, you must get access to information. So we are not only going to stay here in the campus, we'll be also organizing outreach town halls across the country as well as part of our public engagements. Last year also, we presented a bill to the National Assembly called the Data Protection and Privacy Bill for its reading. This is a key step towards improving data governance. Because sometimes, if you observe, if you want to open a new account, whether it's social media or any other account, they give you a long list of conditions, terms and conditions, and they say you have to accept. Sometimes we don't even read those terms and conditions, we just accept. Something has to do with your data. What happens to your data? You've provided your name, your surname, your father's name, what happens to this data? So to protect data integrity, but also to protect citizens' data and citizens' privacy as well. Where the government is working on a bill, which is Data Protection and Privacy Bill. Second reading currently is at the National Assembly for approval. We also, as a ministry, appointed ATI Information Commissioners. If you could recall, in 2021, the government passed the ATI Act. Now, to implement that act, according to the act, within 18 months, the act must be implemented. And we all know what the act is about. That is, the public can request for information from public officials. So what we did was to appoint the 5 commissioners who are confirmed by the National Assembly. And now we are working on operationalizing the secretariat so that it is becoming a fully functional secretariat. In addition, as a ministry, we also conducted capacity building programs for senior government officials in collaboration with NDI, the National Democratic Institute, with UNESCO and NATCOM, to raise awareness of the ATI Act as well. We also provided capacity building programs for information officers and journalists to strengthen professional communication practices. Now remember, Department of Information Service is an operational arm of the ministry. They recruit and deploy information officers to different ministries as part of our mandate to provide information, timely, accurate, authentic information to the public. We also, so we have a lot of information officers that we send to each ministry as information officers. Now we are going to change that name to communications officers. We provided training for them on social media management and other forms of management. We also collaborated with, because one of the vision of the ministry is to ensure that we create a reservoir of professional, ethical, competent journalists in this country. If we don't have that, then we're in trouble. The same dangers that are inherent in having a teacher corps which has incompetent teachers, or a nursing corps with incompetent nurses, the dangers inherent in that situation is the same dangers we'll face if we have a journalist, a media corps with incompetent journalists. Information is powerful. It can make or break society. So the people who handle this information must be able to know how to handle such information. That is why we are keen on making sure that we train and provide training opportunities for all journalists across the country, particularly young journalists. That is why we are collaborating with Freedom House to provide internship opportunities for 50, 30 students from the School of Journalism at UTG. The 10 has already started 2-3 weeks ago. They are oriented. Freedom House is funding this in terms of their stipend and transport allowance. And we deploy them to different media houses, some to the ministry and some to the Department of Information Service, for them to start learning the practical aspects of their job. Because it doesn't make sense. See, careers like journalism is not something that is purely theoretical. You can go to university, do 4 years, get a degree in journalism, you cannot even hold a camera. You cannot even do a single interview, and you said, I have a degree in journalism. To learn the practical aspect of their job, to be in the field, to be in the studio, to know how it works, we provide internship opportunity of 3 months. So they will be and having life experience in how to become a journalist, how to hold a mic. I mean, it's sad if you do 4 years of university education and you have a degree, you cannot know even how to hold a mic. And so we want to ensure that we integrate practical elements of learning to journalism, to the education of journalists in this country. So that is why we also work with Freedom House to ensure that we provide internship opportunities for journalists, student journalists who are at the University of the Gambia. Now, at the policy level, we drafted the community media sustainability policy to ensure the viability and the effectiveness of community media. Community media is important because, like we said, we want to ensure that every Gambian has access to information in the language that they understand. Therefore, community media is critical in this aspect. Now, obviously, there are challenges everywhere, and this ministry also has challenges. We have a lot of ideas, a lot of initiatives, but sometimes resources can be an issue, and that is, you all know the budget cannot cater for every sector's needs. We must grapple with that, but we thank our partners, particularly donor partners, who always come to our aid to support us.